I sure love having free speech as a US citizen. It's such a privilege to be able to express myself under the First Amendment. Free Palestine! Ceasefire now!
A few moments later.
The First Amendment apparently only guarantees your freedom of expression when it's in favor of the empire that is the US. And if you dare swim against the current, you will be met with unparalleled suppression and violence, and you may even lose your life as is. Everyone knows what's happening on college campuses throughout the US, and everyone knows about the state's response to the peaceful protests. Simply put, protesters are being beaten up and arrested, with even faculty members being detained for exercising two of their rights enshrined in the First Amendment: freedom of expression and freedom of assembly. This obviously did not start today, and it's certain that these college students will not be the last victims, as the US has a long history of stifling anyone who even attempts to stand in its face, tracing back to the protests against the Vietnam War and the Civil Rights Movement. However, one key thing that this whole crackdown should remind us of is Julian Assange, as his whole case highlights the hypocrisy of the American regime, and it reflects the very clear US policy of intolerance for actual freedom of speech. If one were to expose their crimes or those of their allies, they will be prosecuted and their lives will forever be altered. So much for liberty. Julian Assange has been either living off the grid or in captivity for years simply for exposing that the US Army killed civilians for sport during the invasion of Iraq. And today, students are being arrested, potentially having their futures ruined for doing the same thing, exposing the Israeli occupation's crimes against civilians in Gaza and calling for a ceasefire. Assange's case may not be significant on the basis that is one journalist that is being prosecuted for doing his job. It's significant because it shows that the US is built on nothing but lies. There is no democracy and no freedom of speech, and if you dare say a word in the face of the killing machines, you will be trampled alongside the victims you are defending.